Thank you for joining us again on the Arguably Awesome podcast. You got A.CARD. Wait, hold on. Is it opposite day or something?
That's A.CARD.
I'm Airflow.
Yeah, I'm A.CARD. He's Airflow.
Just two idiots bumbling our way through this whole thing.
We're really keeping it on point with that sentence.
Wow, just really on brand there. Wow.
25 cents a day could save a life in an arcade.
Wow.
Save you from dying when it hits zero. Nice
segue. We are over here talking to you folks today about arcades, getting a little bit of nostalgia factor going, talking about some old school stuff. We're going to be talking today about some new school stuff, including virtual reality arcades, and a little bit about where we think the future of arcades is heading at this current time. You know, especially with console gaming. It's going to be a ride. I mean, seriously, super excited for this. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and spin this motherfucking intro. Okay, what you got?
Just about to blow your brain. Oh, can you see it?
Anyone got some old photos of the Clackamas Town Center? You're probably getting some lag because I see you look a little slow on my side. r/Portland. Someone's got a picture of the Clackamas Town Center in the early 90s, early 2000s. Let's see the tall fountain they used to have. Right. The fountain you were referencing.
Yeah.
In another video, I think at one point. Yeah.
The tall statue of Zeus's face or something. Dude, those were the days.
Those were the days. Wow, look at that.
Why is it so slow?
Well, because you're trying to also share like some other stuff over the internet as well. When you share your screen, and unfortunately it's going to slow your booty down. I mean, that one is pretty impressive. It looks like it's got the ice rink. Wait, ice rink? That looks like Lloyd Center.
Tanya Harding right here.
Skating at Clackamas? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, she's from Oregon.
No, Clackamas Town Center had an ice rink?
Yeah. That's the ice rink right there.
Shit.
Yeah, I
knew Lloyd Center had one, but I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, I think it went out before the mid-90s or around the mid-90s, and then it turned into like a walking area where they had food, I think. I don't remember. All I remember is passing them, and there was like, just the lighting was great, little holes in the floor, and the ceiling would look like little stars. Oh, it was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you referencing the star ceiling. Now I get what you're talking about there, dude. Dude, that's actually pretty sick.
Did they have an arcade there? I don't remember.
I think at one point they had a few things. They did have a VR arcade at Clackamas Town Center that me and Emily went to at one point. And they basically had like a little mapped out area where you could operate within the square and not like hurt yourself or anybody. Yeah. But they had like the little computer hanging up from the top, and they had like the whole like wire system where it like hangs it from the ceiling. And you could just play like a bunch of different games. Some of them I had already seen on the PlayStation Network from playing the PSVR, like Arizona Sunshine, or I can't remember what the other one was.
Mm-hmm.
They had some pretty cool stuff actually for playing VR games at the arcade at the mall. They also have a VR arcade, coincidentally, out in Gresham at the Wonderland, the Nickel Arcade, just right there at that shopping center.
Yeah.
Just past like the Gresham High School. And man, me, my mom, and my sisters went out to the arcade out there, and we didn't realize that they had a VR attraction. I was like, we gotta do it, because I'd already been playing VR at that point. Love it. And to see, I mean, obviously I couldn't see them except for like in the game. Like I wish I could have seen their physical forms after. But like to see them like trying to crouch and like reload their guns, because we were doing like a zombie like survival wave shooter thing, was so hilarious. And like I could just only imagine how I looked at people with that helmet on. I'm like gung ho, just like ducking behind the virtual barricade. I'm like,
what place was this again?
The Nickel Arcade out in Gresham, dude, like almost right by you. It's like right out there.
Wonderland.
By the Gresham Transit. Gresham Transit, yeah.
That is the newest one. That is still the newest one. I think that was the last Wonderland that was ever put up. Maybe 10 years ago.
I think so.
I remember it used to be a laser tag place. That was fun. That's where I was with this chick I liked from high school, and then we were buddying up. Now we hid behind something, and I just look at her, and I'm like, not with my hand.
Whoa, just getting all nice and like, you guys were caught up in the heat of the moment, the heat of the battle. You guys had this moment which was like the both of you two kind of going at it, and you just couldn't help yourself. You guys are just like, take me, and together we'll rule the laser game.
Give me some sugar, baby. I can be like Bruce Campbell. Hail to the king, baby.
Bruce Campbell. Wow, what a reference.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know you've been recording for the last 10 minutes.
Hey, now I don't hesitate. I start recording as soon as possible because I'm not gonna let what happened in the first episode happen again.
Oh, yeah. We're like 15, 12 minutes or something like that.
You think I'm just gonna be sitting here and we're like, oh my gosh, Eric, you should be recording. This is gold. And I'm gonna be like, gosh darn it, got me again. No, not this time. Just like Iron Man, I too learn from my mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Using a reference. So what I guess we're talking about Wonderland right now. I remember about 20 years ago, I was at a Wonderland. My uncle would take me and my cousin to the little arcade. I'm like, I guess. I wasn't really enthusiastic about it because I liked playing PlayStation or Super Nintendo. But yeah, the late 90s, early 2000s, the Wonderland was the first arcade I'd ever been to. Okay, Chuck E. Cheese's, but it's an arcade pizza place. But I guess the second one, Wonderland. But yeah, you walk in, they got the thing with the wooden balls you roll up, try to get into the hole, get points, and then they had Star Wars Pod Racer, which I didn't play because it looked hard. But then they had the big 18-wheeler where you have to like drive this 18-wheeler, get it from point A to point B, try not to hit too many cars, watch out for the frickin' tornado coming. Oh man, it was kind of cool because you could choose like wild characters like Crazy Taxi style. It was
oh man, I actually remember that game you're talking about, the 18-wheeler. I was never really good at it. I would always try with that big ass wheel, dude. And it was like Big Rig or something like that, yeah. And they'd have the little CB radio, and you could be like boost, and it'd be like, all right, coming up. I could only get to like the third level of that game. I like sucked at it, man. I mean, you know.
I know, but eventually they made it for the PlayStation too. That game.
I could see that. It had the same kind of graphics as like Vigilante 8, if you can remember that one. Oh man, no, PlayStation 1 classic.
Never played Vigilante.
Oh, Vigilante 8 was like another one of those twisted metal ass type of games where you could choose different like yeah, well it was called Vigilante 8 because there were 8 characters you could play as.
Oh, okay.
And so like one of them was like this guy who was like a robot. He was like a gold robot with a cowboy hat and a fake handkerchief on his mouth. And he had a golden ass car that would float, and you could like collect rocket power ups and all sorts of crazy shit. And one of them was like a cool ass like Black Dynamite type dude. One was like some like bounty hunter chick. Like they had all sorts of characters, and there was like a level where you could play where there were like UFOs that you could like jump over or like try to activate certain like stage elements with. I mean, it was such a wacky game. Like at one point you're flying around in the Swiss Alps, or no, actually I think the map was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you're like jumping off of ski lifts and fucking ramps, just kind of, you know, trying to basically take out your opponent with vehicular combat and manslaughter. It was pretty fun. I used to play it all the time.
Knockoff?
And basically it's a Twisted Metal knockoff. Yeah, no, absolutely, wow. Absolutely, in all sense of the word. Yeah, I mean, you know, but I liked it.
I don't know what my go-to. I think that Big Rigs was my go-to at the age of 10, before my my mid-teens, I think.
Well, tell me more about. I mean, we were talking about arcades, right? I mean, do you remember the Wonderland out there? I want to say just out in the North Hollywood district, out here towards
like Belmont.
downtown. Yeah, There we go, Belmont. Yep.
I think it's Belmont. Yeah, Leland took me to that one, and that's been like within the last 10 years. We've been there multiple times.
Now that's the one I remember. Pod racers and like all those good games at. Oh, and all the pinball they had, man.
Yeah. Are they still around? Is that one still around?
I believe that one might still be a Wonderland, or they changed it into the adult arcade.
Did it look like it used to be a theater? It looks like it's a theater layout. I don't know what it used to be before it was Wonderland.
Well, because all the Wonderlands used to show movies at the time. It was like their deal. Really? You go to Wonderland and you could play games, or it'd be like, hey, at 5:30 we're showing blah blah blah, and you could.
I guess I forgot about that.
Hell yeah, dude! I think even the one in Gresham still has like some showtimes.
McMiniman's Edgefield. You get a little theater through a little doorway. You go, hey, there's a theater in here.
Wonderland were some of like the best like chain of arcades. Like you had the ones that like movie theaters had on lock. The what I can't remember their name, but you could play like certain games like Guitar Hero and like a bunch of racing games like Need for Speed, and like you had your typical claw games. But like there was like those specific movie theater arcades, like while your kids are waiting for the movie to start or whatever. If you showed up that early,
like Star Street Theater,
like Star Street Theater, exactly like that.
I know what my go-to game was. It was the Star Wars trilogy from '97. You have to go through. What's the first one? You can choose Hoth, then Endor. But what was the first one?
Probably like either.
He does.
Yeah,
it's
there
the one
you
where
go.
you have to blow up the Death Star. That one was cool. And then you give you a bonus level, 2 bonus levels, if I remember correctly. One is you fight Darth Vader. That's in the Return of the Jedi one. But I guess there's 2 for the Return of the Jedi. You also fight Boba Fett over the Starlight Pit. You have to dodge Darth Vader with the saber and dodge Boba Fett shots. That game was easy to beat after a while, and I have it emulated on this laptop right now. And I played it when I was in Indonesia. I was like trying to work the computer controls, and it was pretty fun.
Oh, you bad boy. Always trying to
I know.
Hack things and all sorts of crap like that.
I would buy that arcade if I could. You probably can for a pretty penny. I just haven't looked it up, and I have no room for it. So I
can
love
understand that.
Arcade. But they
used to have that at
pod.
Oh, really?
Dave and Buster's down in Clackamas.
Oh, okay.
They have the Star Wars pod. It's like a pod. Maybe they've upgraded now, but it's almost like the Star Wars arcade, but updated with better graphics, and the screens around like IMAX theater.
Dude, that's awesome. They used to have that at Lloyd Center as well. Do you remember the arcade at Lloyd Center? I don't know if you ever really played at it, but they had the one that was inside like the movie theater area, like that you could access after you purchased your ticket.
Oh, upstairs.
And then they had the one that was outside in the food court that had like the Chuck E. Cheese like game where like the light goes around and you have to like try and hit it in the middle so that you get the jackpot. And it had a bunch of other shit ass games in there. I think that one even had Guitar Hero. Man, it was right there by, because it's like Orange Julius, and then it's like there was something else on that corner.
Orange maybe Julius. Like, I missed those drinks.
I don't know if it was Chicken Connection, but they had like a restaurant there. It was like Orange Julius, boom, another restaurant, and then the arcade, boom, right in the corner.
Yeah.
And then the theater. And I was like,
diner?
Oh man.
That 50.
Oh no, the diner was on the other side.
Rest in peace. That diner had some good ass malt.
Some of the greatest. It was the closest to being in an Archie comic that I've ever been to. You know what I mean? Like
Vancouver, there's what's that 50s diner? I've been there. It's Cadillac Cafe or something like that. I don't know.
There's a Cadillac Cafe out here.
Stardust I know that Cadillac Cafe, but it's in an area I don't want to be in.
I went there, dude. It's really nice. You just go in and it's nice. It's nice.
Last time I was there was 2012. 12 or 13 was last time I was there. It was John and Leland. But Stardust Cafe, really nice. You gotta check it out in Vancouver.
Stardust Cafe.
You and your gal get some biscuits and gravy. Woo-hoo! It's like that one guy who's the angry gamer. The guy's like, he's all muscular, has the hot ass girlfriend. You know what I'm talking about?
You're so funny. How's the hot ass girlfriend?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the angry gamer. Who doesn't know about that?
And then he falls. Somebody edited to where he falls into like a whole bunch of cube pieces when he falls.
Oh my gosh! Did you just freaking smack your head?
I did. Yeah, I don't have much room back here.
What a shame. No, it's good. It's good.
Spazzing out.
So, what is your experience with arcades? Because I feel like I've spent a lot of times in arcades with, like, you know, my sisters or, like, you know, a few friends back in the day. I've always been obsessed with video games. So for me, arcades were like a huge corner of that. Like I would use allowance to go up to the Nickel Arcade Wonderland off of 102nd and Halsey, just up the street from my house back in the day. And they had like all sorts of sick ass games, like one where you're like controlling a giant mech with these two joysticks and you would like pull them apart like a split. Pull them apart in a split to try and make the character jump like over bullets and stuff, and you can make them shoot, or you know, like playing Dance Revolution, or you know, the old school Konami Simpsons 4-player arcade cabinet. You know, just so many fond memories spent at arcades. I mean, did you even play the games at like Chuck E. Cheese back in the day, man? What's your
Actually, I'm looking that up right now. I'll share my screen to show some of that arcade in the 90s. All right, so right here, this isn't 90s. I don't think. Maybe it is. I think it actually is. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it is. Holy crap! Will you click on it just real quick?
I do remember.
If you have to go back.
Simpson was the go-to at Chuck E. Cheese, and I love that wackadoo.
Wow, look at that.
Let's let it render. I know. Can I make this full screen so we don't have to see the browser? I can right here. There we go. So yeah, there is that.
Wow.
Oh, I remember that spider squash. I loved hitting these alligators for some reason, like whack-a-mole. Even though this isn't an arcade game, but still, it was an arcade. Dude, this one was pretty fun. They light up red. You just got to stomp it.
Freaking spider stomper. Yeah, dude. Yeah. See, now you're getting into some old school like Chuck E. Cheese ass shit, like I was talking about.
There is going to be a podcast dedicated to old school Chuck E. Cheese, and I got some vintage coins too that haven't been. This one was at Mall 205. This was Aladdin's Castle. Was the arcade I went to twice.
Oh wow! Holy crap!
It was right next to a video store. To the left, there was like a video game store. I think you could buy and trade games inside.
What a blast from the past. Look at that.
I remember I tried out the Terminator Judgment Day, that arcade game at Aladdin's Castle.
Wow. It was a freaking blast from the past.
Ah, there it is.
Blew my mind.
The devil.
Yeah, the T2 arcade game. Wow, with the guns and everything.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is some, man, I'm excited to talk about Chuck E. Cheese at some point. Woof. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, thanks for the memories.
I know, right?
Chuck E. Cheese's. Oh, yeah, don't do that.
See, yeah, then we're going to go off into, we're going to start right into Chuck E. Cheese. But this is the Aladdin's Castle that was in Mall 205. Because that's where the second arcade. So the first time I ever been to an arcade was probably Chuck E. Cheese. I loved air hockey. The second one would be Aladdin's Castle in 98 or 99 when Mambo number 5 came out. That's when I played the T2.
Oh,
and I watched the video.
Yeah, wow.
The A&W restaurant, they had a little TV in the corner up in the ceiling. We're watching Mambo number 5 while I'm eating a burger. Then get Orange Julius afterwards with my mom because she was obsessed.
Oh, well, Orange Julius, never mind. Wait, no, which one did I like? I don't like Jamba Juice. Oh, Orange Julius is great.
Yeah. And now this is what Mall 205 looks like, unfortunately. They have DMV inside, but it had such... One thing I want to touch on, they had an amazing collector's toy shop in 98, 99 that I remember going to, getting vintage Star Wars toys. Half the room was Star Wars from the 70s to the 90s, the mid 90s.
Okay.
To the Power of the Force. And they had Marvel shit and cards, but most of it was so good. They had Barnes and Nobles.
Well, 205 at
Santa's,
last gives
Pet
up the
Shop.
ghost. Oh no.
Yeah, it's one of those dead malls.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Did you do anything at Mall 205? Do you remember doing anything?
I remember Mall 205 back in the day. They had that big ass like hobby shop, which was pretty cool. They had that big ass carousel at one point. You know, there's always something for people to enjoy at these places.
Yeah.
Lloyd Center was the one that I spent a lot more of my time at, to be completely honest. What are you looking up, a floor plan? You gonna do a heist?
I'm trying to see if there's any actual photos. Man, I wish I would have had some of my own photos from Mall 205 back in the day. It was Lloyd Center and Mall 205 were great places in the 90s until the mid 2000s, and then it early to mid 2000s just died out. I don't know why. I think maybe a property tax, or not property tax, renting a place got more expensive, and then sometimes you'll see a Halloween store in there every year. But
the last time I went to an arcade was just like maybe even like sometime last year. I mean, like I said, I've always been obsessed with video games. I don't necessarily have the pictures to show at the moment, but I mean, Emily went to an arcade out in Lincoln City. I was telling you a little bit before I started the stream or the recording.
yeah.
We went to, I want to say the place was called Level Up, is what I want to say. Either that or it was called Game Over, some video game generic term like that. It's pretty cool though. A great place to get a drink and then go out and play some skee ball. Everything was like super bright and colorful. I love that whole scheme of like dark but then like neon everywhere. It was like a few steps away from like being a glow party. It just needed like fog machines and lasers, and then it would have been complete. But
wow.
Then me and her took a trip to Denver last year in 2021, almost about the same time, and we went to this bar. Oh my gosh, I love that, by the way. We went to this bar and man, I could not remember the name of it right now. I have a video. I'll link it up in the corner, probably that other corner.
Okay.
But it'll basically be like a vacation vlog. But we went to this bar in Denver, and it was a video game themed bar. They had like this whole regular area where you could like watch sports. They had the bar where you could sit out in front, a couple booths to the side. But then you go to the other side, and it's just this whole video game showcase. You got your classic skee ball and basketball like dunk challenges or whatever 3-point challenges, but then you also had like a few like racers, some other modern stuff. I mean, it was like a mix of Dave and Buster's and like old school Chuck E. Cheese vibe. Like it was actually kind of legit. But then you could like grab yourself an IPA and a plate of wings. Like I can't not for the life of me remember the name, but it's in the Denver pavilions. It's like an outdoor
share
mall.
Share
It's
that in
pretty
post.
Hell yeah, I will definitely.
But you
so
forgot about the adult bar we first went to like in 2011 or 10. And I still have the video of you playing the original 1980s early arcade cabinet of Star Wars. It was this like green lines where you're an X-wing shooting, and it's like really Tronish. And we played a Tron game there too. It's like the original Tron arcade game. It was really weird.
Yeah, it was the old school Tron that was just a knob. You're sitting there trying to turn the knob.
Yeah.
And I think that may have been either the like revamping of ground control when they rebuilt and moved to the other side of like around the corner or whatever.
Oh.
I think that might have actually no, when you came there. No, I think that was the new ground control. Yeah, they had moved over there not too long ago. And man, the 2 floors was worth it. It still wasn't quite enough space.
Yeah,
but they had like that 4-player Pac-Man. It was I think it was an event night that night too, so it was super packed.
Dude, we were playing Simpsons. What's that burger thing where you try to make the burger and I don't know, try to stop the monsters from stealing the burger, and then like the burger keep going down each level to try to make the sandwich. But we were playing NBA. I love the NBA game.
Did we play the Ninja Turtles 4-player
We
game at one
did.
point?
We played
Yeah.
Simpsons, Ninja Turtles, NBA. I think it was NBA All Stars or something. And we went upstairs, played some pinball. And
It's
I'm
like
not
NBA
a pinball
Jam,
guy,
right?
but I like pinball.
Dude,
Yeah, NBA Jam.
I get an itchy trigger finger when it comes to pinball. I mean,
remember the Pac-Man?
yeah. Oh, the 4-player Pac-Man table square? Yeah, hell yeah.
Pac-Man. They also have a version for your phone that you could download back in 2011 when the Windows Phone came out. It was Pac-Man.
Was it the championship edition?
Yes, right when you eat that thing that makes you go great, it's like doo doo, and it made my Windows Phone lag because it was so much going on. I'm like, oh shit, but this is awesome.
I played it a lot on the PS Vita and the PlayStation 3, but I know what you're talking about. That the Championship
It
DX
was like an
edition was
update,
awesome.
rebooted, modernized. It was awesome.
I used to play pinball on like old school like desktops. You remember like it was like that old school like purple like background, and then like you like blow the ball up the middle and it'd be like near
Oh yeah.
you just be like hitting the time. You're like, oh, get that fucking pinball in the... Oh man, I can't remember. It was like I almost thought it was the same name as that like that company that does the animations for like bowling alleys. But,
Bali.
I almost thought it was them, but
yeah,
I can't remember the name. Man, I used to love
Fitness, Bali
those.
pinball. Something.
Oh wow. Wow.
Actually, so wait, you played arcade in Lincoln City, right?
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking about like recent years, like that was back in 2017 was when I was last there. So who knows what it's looking like now? But that place was actually super sick, and it was just like unassuming. I'm pretty sure it's called Level Up, but you go to walk up and it's got these like neon signs. It's like one says arcade and one says like Level Up or something. And you walk in and it looks pretty unassuming at first, and you look over and you're like, oh, that's a bar. Nice.
You might need to see if it's still there, because I talked to somebody doing my wife's eyebrows, eyebrows, and they said a lot of places in Newport and Depot Bay closed down. A lot of local shops closed down because of COVID. So
I could see that
scary.
actually.
That's sad.
I could see that. There was a place in Denver. I talked to you about the Denver Pavilions one, but there's another one that's more styled like a Japanese arcade. I mean, to the point, dude, where they have like computer versions of arcade games, like House of the Dead 2. They had the PC version of it, so it's literally a keyboard and like a mouse. They're like playing keyboard and mouse in the middle of an arcade.
I think the game was better than the movie.
The game was way better than the movie for sure.
I remember that movie came out around the same time House of a Thousand Corpses came out, I believe. It was a Ram Zombie film.
Oh man, love that. House of a Thousand Corpses. Classic. Do you mind talking to the listeners for a moment, brother? My bladder's getting a little bit full. I gotta go release the mouth. Oh, sorry, that's too much information. I'm gonna let you guys handle this. But I'm gonna go ahead and dip out real quick.
Speaking of Lincoln City, I have not been to that arcade, but my first introduction to it, I knew what a pinball machine was growing up, but the first one I actually played was called Pinbot. Let's see if I can find it. It was really cool because there's actually an NES version of Pinbot as well. I have the emulator game for that, which is weird because I love Pinbot because it was probably from the late 80s when I looked it up, but I played it at the Nordic Hotel. I stayed there in Lincoln City. Been doing that ever since I've been born with my parents, and we don't do that anymore because things change, things get more expensive. But memories, childhood. Let's see, pinball game. Wow. I mean, look at it. I pretend I was Pinbot. I made a whole story about Pinbot when I was, in the 90s. When you go outside, you play games. We play Star Wars, Indiana Jones, James Bond. We'd play anything that the imagination could do. And we just had fun with it. Look at this. This is so 80s, and it's so colorful, and it catches the eye. And you can imagine when it lights up. I wonder if I could find a video, but man, Pinbot was so cool. Wow, 41 minutes of this? Okay, we're going to cut this commercial out.
Wow, how deep is that commercial? You said it's 41 minutes?
Skip. Joe's Classic Video Games. Okay, here is the pinball. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But this is courtesy of, I'll share the owner of the video in a second here. Let's see in action. I kind of want to, I want to see a playthrough of this. Man, there it is.
Looks like it's struggling just a little itty bit.
Yeah, I don't know why it's struggling. Maybe go 360.
Probably because you're trying to watch a video and you're trying to record yourself at the same time. You gotta have the super premium ultra 5G.
Oh, here we go. Wow, look how pristine it is. It's like really cleaned up. Wow.
Is it still just the same part where it's flashing for you? Oh, okay. Now I see someone's hand kind of moving on the side. Is there supposed to be audio?
There is audio, yes.
Oh, okay. StreamYard's probably just not sharing it.
I want to see this thing in action.
Oh, is this that one pinball machine enthusiast who just shows it like lit up and like, I feel like I've seen this before. I mean, this kind of
I don't know.
This person.
Well, he said he's gonna play it. I hope so.
Okay. Keep my eyes.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now he is. Wow, this is so 80s.
Is it actually playing in full speed, like full motion for you?
Yeah.
Because what I'm assuming the recording might look like is almost like a frame by frame.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, I mean, at least we saw some video, but let me see. Let me show the picture of the Pinbot. Joe's Classic Video Games. That's the man who is showcasing this 1986 Williams Pinbot pinball.
Joe's Classic Video Games. Okay.
Let's go back to the picture here. So the picture I was trying, can you see the Google page?
Yeah.
Okay, now here is the cover of the Pinbot. Originally, it doesn't have a face like this. It doesn't have eyes or anything. It was mainly this one right here. I would just see this in Lincoln City at the Nordic Hotel. I would stay out with my family for years on end, and for at least the last 5 years of going there, or that I remember, I'd like, oh, let's go down to the. They have a few pinball machines in the lounge area. And I'd be like, oh, Pinbot, and then I'd pretend I'm Pinbot at school.
That almost looks like no, for sure, dude. I mean, in fact, that almost looks like the freaking inspiration for Zingbot from Big Brother. There's
really?
this competition series on CBS called Big Brother, and they have a character called Zingbot that hits people with zingers, kind of like insult comedy style.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. At least that's
Whoa, that's a lot of money.
Oh, geez. Was that 8,900 pounds?
8,600, 900 pounds, which would be about 8,000 something dollars, maybe 7,000 something dollars. I think it's about 8,000 something dollars, not far off. Wow, look at that solar system too. It just looked so magical. And then yeah, there was that woman. I forgot that was like his girlfriend or something. I would assume it was. I don't know. But man, this was a classic arcade, pinball machine I just love to play. And since we're on the topic of arcade-ish stuff, yeah, I'll stop sharing that. So
No, that's pretty sick looking though. I gotta be honest, dude, because like I was pretty obsessed. What would I even do if I had one of those? I mean, I think I got my own thing going on over here, but like you're so funny. Yeah, I would play it, obviously, but play it until it broke? Hopefully not. You know, I'd like that thing to be passed down to my grandchildren.
Dude, I sweat like no other. One, you remember Temo?
I don't know where this has to go with Timo, but I'm listening.
He brought over his GameCube once. Spent the night in like 2004 or 5. brought over his GameCube, played the Metroid Prime. That was really hot for that. He'd be like, "Oh, look at her, look at her." Anyway, I
Oh
was like,
gosh.
I'm not impressed. Metroid Prime was like boring for me. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but not for me. But anyway, the reason why I'm wearing shorts and short sleeve shirts when I sleep, because there was a big thing of sweat outlining my body on the bed, and he's like, "Dude, how'd you sweat?"
Have you seen that
You're not
meme
in
where
the
it's
bed, by
like
the way. You've never been.
yeah. Have you seen that meme where it's like the guy talking about how his AC was broken and he was sweating to death at night, and then the picture is like his body outlined in sweat, and his cock and balls are outlined in sweat.
Is it real?
I don't know. It looks fake. The body
Wait.
sweat makes the person look like Gumby or like Kermit the Frog. It's like the proportions aren't right. But then, and also the cock, like the sweat stain is huge.
Wait, I need to look at this outline. I just put AC broke, body sweat outline. Let's see if I can actually find anything. Menopause. I'm not looking at
Wow.
menopause. What the hell?
Holy crap, that's so funny.
All I'm
Jeez.
getting right now is Jordan Peele sweating. You'll have to send that to me. I'm kind of curious.
Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Share.
Oh, I can actually make our podcast full
share
screen. I
screen.
never knew this.
You never knew that? Oh wow.
This whole time I've been looking at everybody, all the guests we had. Oops, can't say anymore. And us, and I've been looking at this all screen. That is so fucking fake. That's not real.
Every time I see this freaking meme, dude, it cracks me up. I'm like, what is this? Like, what? I'm like, that can't. See, look, don't mind my sweat stain was hot last night, but check out my new sheets.
What the hell?
That shit is ridiculous, man.
Oh god.
Oh man. Anyway,
We're gonna get in trouble.
you know what? I'll blur it for the YouTuber.
So for the people listening who don't watch this, yeah, it's as he described. A man's outline from the torso down, a legs spread eagle, almost like a V at least. And then there's a big schlonger in the middle, about 12 inches.
It's pretty
Sweat
mighty.
stain. So have that visual.
Yeah. Wow, that's fuck, man. The internet has no chill.
No.
We're getting off the site. We're getting off subject now. What I wanted to ask you here was, have you tried VR? And if not, have you thought about maybe trying like a VR arcade?
In Jakarta, Indonesia, back in 2019, I want to say. Yeah, 2019, we went to this mall. There's a ton of huge malls in Asia. It's like where you go if you want to hang out. Pretty much that movie theater, grocery store, restaurants, everything, coffee shops. So they had this thing called Sandbox VR. We went in there. We could choose like if we wanted to do so many things, but we chose a zombie house because I wanted my wife to go there. She hates horror. That's why I chose it. And she sucked it up and tried it. So right when you get in there, you're like wearing this stuff. I'll have to share some pictures later when I was a little heavier. But so don't make fun of me. But there was
wow.
So we put on this. It looks like you're about to be like a SWAT team set up almost. You got these wrist things on with these little white balls so it can body track you in the green screen room. Your green screen room.
Oh, so you actually had to put some sort of like suit?
Yeah, we had to put on wristbands here, big vest, then here, back here, and on your knees and on your ankles, and around your waist or something. Then you have a gun, and then you're in this house. You can't step out of this square perimeter, of course. And you got zombies coming right and left. You have a boss fight, man, and you have to hold your hand on the shoulder of your partner if they get downed, and do it for like about 10 seconds to get them, revive them. Oh man, it was intense. But when I
Oh,
was
that's
at
wow.
Kingpins in Beaverton, there's a place called Kingpins. I don't know if you know about it.
They
Kingpins
have one in
Arcade.
Beaverton. I know the one out here on
Yeah,
what is it like Powell?
yeah, they have a
92nd and
bowling
Powell?
alley, and it's also a arcade on the other half. But I was walking through a VR thing, and I'm all looking through it's like hanging this little goggle headset's hanging through the thing. Cause I don't think it was that intense as the one in Asia, but where this thing looked looked like a glass piece as you're looking through, and I'm like looking at this kid killing something with igloos, killing somebody with igloo around igloos or something. And then this asshole guy's like, "Hey, you can't be in there. Watch out. You always want to watch out. You get in there. You got to pay $7." And I'm like, "Dude, okay, we didn't know. We didn't know, bitch." I wanted to say that. And I'm like, "God, my work after work social gathering just got ruined with this asshole." Just things. Soon as I knew, I was just curious what it was.
Oh, you
But
were at a work
no,
social gathering?
yeah, we went to Kingpins for after we had a meeting. It was like the Friday before Labor Day.
I got a photo. So here's that arcade I was talking about out in the
Pretty straightforward arcade. Okay.
right. I don't think I got a name the place the part of the other name, but here's Emily hopping in. I think it's that like um Jurassic Park game. It's got like crossbow. Oh no, that's the yeah, it's a Walking Dead game. In fact, where is it?
Okay.
Yeah, here's the zombie over the back of us now. I'm doing some stupid face. That's usually my MO. Some sort of like, you know,
Okay.
hokey. Yeah, you know. We played some shoot 'em ups. You know, you can see kind of closer towards the eating area, bar,
Yeah.
bathroom side. But it was a pretty deep restaurant slash bar. I don't know why I have two of those.
Was that
And then
I don't
this
know.
looks like part of the Airbnb where we stayed at. Coincidentally, there was some random neighborhood stray, and I was like, "Oh man, well,
Okay.
I guess as we're checking out, might as well, you know, take a picture with this guy." You know, he was like sending us off. He was like, "See you later." Another place where I used to enjoy playing arcade games was at bowling alleys and roller rinks. Bowling alleys and roller rinks had some of the coolest arcades for something like uh, just like a small chain, like interstate lanes. Me and my sister Rihanna used to play the F out of Hydro Thunder and when some of the other racers, and then like some of the claw games, and that was just the best, man. I was always stoked to go there when my dad had like his league or my grandfather had his league, and he would take us. You just sit there and
Yeah.
play the arcade games off in the back.
I
Or
don't think
like
anybody in my family played arcade games at all. I was present.
well, and that's the perils of being like an only child, because you're like, "Oh, I wish my cousin was here. Maybe we could at least play something together."
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to
Oh,
find this video. I really am determined to find this video of you.
while you're doing that, I'll start expounding a little bit on the future of arcades. I feel
Oh,
like
that's true.
I feel like console gaming and PC gaming has killed a lot of arcade gaming because it's so accessible for people. You can just
Mhm.
game at your house and you don't have to travel across town, spend a bunch of quarters, and for like one lump sum, and then like I guess like, you know, more money afterwards if you want to buy more games. You can access, you know, console or a PC, and there's like a bunch of free games for one, and then like, you know, somewhat affordable content out there to digest where
Mhm.
people can still play with other people and enjoy that kind of like arcade feel, but like sitting on their butts staring at a screen at home. And I think it's changed a little bit of what it means to go out and play at an arcade with other people, but there's still that kind of like level of connectivity that's bridging people across the internet where they're still getting somewhat of a satisfying feeling. I mean, there's been couch co-ops and like LAN parties, and you know now a lot of games are just full on like online multiplayer. But I do feel like the level of satisfaction there does kind of like cripple the experience of the arcade a little bit.
It's all virtual.
It's all virtual, baby. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Wait, is VR even a thing anymore for consoles?
So I guess from my understanding, they're working on the PSVR 2 for PlayStation. I don't know about Xbox's version of VR. I think they've been working on doing augmented reality in VR, so you'd be able to like do like a mixed reality thing where you still see the world around you, but then there's like something for you to interact with via some sort of goggles. But then it can also switch into like a full VR thing where you're
So like
immersed
screen
in the game.
mode, or
It's something like that.
I don't hear
And-
much
and that
about
may just
VR
be-
at all anymore, except Rec Room.
Well, and I started with you doing VR on the PlayStation when I was finally able to get my hands on that. And then I got the Quest, and that has been pretty fun. But I feel like I haven't done the Quest as much lately. Ever since they started talking about all that metaverse stuff, I kind of like tapped out a little bit. And part of me feels kind of like, I don't know, chumpish for like getting it and being so gung ho at first. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, metaverse. It's like, why? I don't know.
Well,
I've
in
seen some, like, weird
2009, there
commercials
was
and
that. In '09, there was that Bruce Willis movie. Remember? I forgot what it was called, but it's where,
Surrogates.
yeah, great film. I actually enjoyed it.
It's a good movie. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
It's metaverse, right? And augmented reality.
Well,
Jack
the fact
in
that
the
you're able to
Matrix.
like project your consciousness into like an avatar that you can then like go and interact about the day with. I mean,
Yeah.
some people could see the metaverse getting to that point eventually, but I mean, the metaverse is really not supposed to be so much in that way. Like sure, like there's the idea of like maybe being an augmented reality glass, like eyewear kind of thing where you can interact with the metaverse in some ways, like spending your virtual currency and having like a look or whatever,
Yeah.
but in my mind its interaction with the physical world is more of just like an overlay of what the augmented reality would project itself onto the natural world, whereas the true metaverse would be something of a blend of both, like a fully immersive VR where like even the world around you starts to cease to exist, but then at the same time you can still pull back to reality, but there's still some elements of that almost like video game like interface, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's we'll see what happens, I guess, and it only tells in time, or time will tell. There we go. I'm dyslexic.
I'm starting
Do
to
we-
see a shift. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Multiverse. I just had a thought talking about arcade cabinets.
Yeah.
Man, Chris Bores, the irate gamer from YouTube, he loves cabinet arcades. He picks those mini ones. But I remember Super Nintendo tried converting cabinet arcades for Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Simpsons to the Super Nintendo. They tried to convert it from the arcade to the console, and the graphics just didn't line up the same as well as they did for the cabinet. But I think one of the Ninja Turtle games came out the best as it could, being it transitioned to a console. I think it was Turtles in Time.
I wanted to say it was Turtles in Time. Yeah, and a lot of those games when they ported from arcade to console, like sometimes benefited from like more power, I guess, in the unit,
Yeah,
like processing
of course.
power. But then sometimes they struggled a bit. And I think where sometimes people have triumphed over it is like getting a really nice like laptop or desktop and then emulating it themselves. Sometimes a greater effect.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, sometimes those ports, you get some of those midway arcade racing like ports, and it would be like, super awesome. And then like
Yeah.
Hydro Thunder and like, like Arctic Blitz and, a few of those, and they worked like really well. And then sometimes you get some that were just like, jank. So I think
It's hit and miss, baby. And man, were those games expensive back in the day, and then they kind of got cheaper with PlayStation, and now they're expensive again. They found a way, those bastards.
People are liking those old Midway arcade, like Williams arcade style games again, and they want the whole like collection.
And that
like the
pinball
Neo
with the
Geo
Williams
collection. Oh yeah, Williams, love Williams pinball. I mean, they just had the formula, man. Really attractive tabletops for the pinball machines, and then just like lots of well implemented actions, trails, and different things that you can take while you're playing. Super rich experience.
Bullwinkles.
Yeah, we still forgot to talk about Bullwinkles, man.
Bullwinkles will have to be the last stop.
That's fair. We talked about
right next to the Enchanted Forest. If you ever been there.
Oh, the Enchanted Forest.
We should do a video where we go there.
Don't tempt me, man. I could easily go for that.
I haven't been there in almost 20 years, I think. Since 2002.
It's been a few decades, yeah. I want to go to the Tilted House and the Witch's Mouth tunnel.
I want to put myself in her mouth.
Oh God, me too.
All of me. Okay, tell me about Bullwinkles. I've never been there. Saw commercials. Come to Bullwinkles, ha ha! And then the Bullwinkles like dancing around, like, hey, play arcades, play golf, putt golf.
When you first get there, it's got like a freaking the mini putt golf outside. It's got this like water area where you can play in these like inner tube boats that shoot water at other people.
Oh yeah, I've seen the commercials. Which is fun. I forgot about that.
And then they had when you go inside, they had like it was all like just one gigantic arcade. They had some movies you could go and visit. But I mean, they had the huge laser tag area that you could go in, and you could watch people on screens inside the laser tag area while they're playing. It was like mini action movie. It was sick. I would sit there and just kind of get lost watching for a little bit. I'd be like, wow, that's so awesome. It's like, no, get your ass in here and play. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I do sometimes we get caught up like watching other people live through life. Anyways, my point is, they had some pretty cool stuff there. I think one of the last few times I went, they had a few rides. Like they had like a little the spider ride that you would sometimes see at Oaks Amusement Park. Which also had a nice arcade. It was kind of like an open air arcade. Anyways, continuing, they had that inside, and then they had. It's like a huge arcade, dude. It's like a 3-layer level building.
Yeah.
And you could just there was just so many games you could play at Bullwinkles. It was out of control. A kid could get lost in there. And well, I shouldn't say that because I'm sure it's happened. My point is there's so much to attract the eye. Because I got to be honest, man, that was such a cool experience as a kid.
I actually looked up how they got the rights to having bowling, because you know how the Ducks have Donald Duck, like they bought the rights to use that for their team. And I guess the owner originally from California, Bullwinkles is originally from California, and I think the original location is still there. And the one here in Oregon is the last location. There used to be one in Washington. So there's only 2 locations left. They bought the rights to use the characters, or it's in partnership with it. So yeah, it's look it up. You guys need to. Amazing. Maybe we'll post a link to that story if I can find it in the description.
No, that's actually pretty incredible, man. Because you do kind of have to wonder where the ability to license their theme parks to these characters comes from in the first place. Chuck E. Cheese and all that. So, well, I mean, Chuck E. Cheese was kind of just built for that purpose. So I guess that's a bad example, but definitely Bullwinkles and I'm trying to think Disneyland theme parks were also built for Disney in the first place. So I don't know. I guess that's the only really example that I have for you. Maybe Camp Snoopy.
Oh, wow.
I'd never been, but pull that reference out of my ass.
I think we need to tell our listeners what's happening next.
Yeah. Okay. So we've spent about as much time talking about arcades as we can, milking that nostalgia teat. So I guess the reason why we've been kind of going on and on is because we're going to kind of miss you guys for a little bit. We're going to be taking this ship on hiatus. That's right. Arguably Awesome Podcast is coming to a close here for a little bit.
And that's the end of it. This is all of it. We're not coming back. We only want to do 10 episodes. We're done.
Yeah, so fuck all y'all. No,
Bye.
just kidding.
Do
No,
that to y'all? To all
no.
the
I
few
mean,
listeners that we have.
well, hey man, we got to start somewhere, and it's been a nice journey, and we
And
hope
thanks to
to come
Max
back
Cook. We got to
and be
thank Max
better.
Cook for being on with us.
Oh, Max Cook was amazing. I mean, the only guest of season 1, I guess, so far, but the best guest of season.
Like a friend I never knew I needed in my life.
Pretty much grew up listening to Max's voice over the years and didn't even know it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing moment to be able to meet like a childhood hero, to say. I mean, heroes do stuff like saving people from like burning buildings and stuff. So I don't know. I guess an idol.
Oh, he hates
to
the
say.
heat. He wouldn't do that. He'd let you die.
Yeah.
Remember, he said he hates
burnt
the
to a
heat.
crisp.
Can't stand the summer heat. Speaking of guests, man, do we have a lineup for the next few seasons?
Yes. You folks are in for a delightful treat. I mean, we could tease them with at least one, right?
We got people from America, Nickelodeon, the UK, Germany. We got it down.
Yeah, we're lining some people up that are going to be pretty interesting here. Season 2, we hope to be better. We hope to be stronger, wiser, more awesome. Arguably awesome. So. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. We're not bringing back the outrageous
Why?
I mean, seriously, folks, it's been really awesome. Like, thank you for watching us two idiots bumble our way through a podcast. We've come a long way, and we hope that you have come just as much with us.
In more than one way. Yeah, very.
I could not go there.
Thanks to StreamYard, it's easier than ever.
Oh, StreamYard. Such great technology. Mm-hmm. And we hope to be able to use it to even greater effect in season 2.
Help me upgrade to my computer. Every day. Wait. And you can join in too. This is going to get emotional. Just do it. Go for it. You have to use black and white filter in this too.
Oh,
and some
no, I got
stock footage of. Well, you'll come up with some. Okay, tell them we got a message from our sponsors.
No, we're getting you set up. Okay. And now, a message from our sponsors.
Wait, that's me. A message from our. Ow, fuck. Okay, let me start. Every day, we suffer a little bit more, knowing that you're listening, but you're not giving. I'm suffering with a 2011 laptop that you could help pay for with my measly career that I have.
For just 2 pennies a day, you can help supply.
2 pennies? Give me 100. No. I really need to update I should have thought that out and wrote it out, but I really need a new laptop. Come on, man. I have an HP 2011. I just finally was able to get a new phone, so.
Dude, I've been checking out my homie Derek's podcast over at Show Me Some TDs. It's a fantasy football podcast. Yeah, hey, yeah, Show Me Some TDs, bro. It's a play. It's a play. Super awesome though. I mean, like I've been checking him out a little bit. His production values, his production qualities is like up there.
Oh,
so
nice.
Definitely gotta check him out. He has been, stepping his game up. I think he's up on episode like 4 officially, but he's had like a bunch of mini episodes on the vocal podcast version. Yep. That's going to be on Spotify for those who are listening if they want to check him out. But he is going to be going pretty much like all through the football season. I believe podcasts release weekly. And so some of his episodes are about like 20 minutes long. I think episode 4 is like an hour and 30 minutes. But I mean, he's got merch, he's got a song, he's got the works. So, I mean, homie's doing his thing. So I got to put him on. Shout out to him. Y'all should definitely check him out while we're on hiatus, getting everything ready for season 2. That's right, baby.
All right, kick it.
I have Don Cheadle's sunglasses. I have his purse salts. He left them in a cafe once.
My God.
He was eating alone, and I love Don Cheadle, so I grabbed the glasses and I'm chasing Don Cheadle down the street. Mr.
Oh,
Cheadle! Mr. Cheadle! He's not looking back at me. Mr. Cheadle!